Good morning. It is Monday, October 26, 2020. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, and the Kerr County Commissioners Court is now in session. If you would, please stand for the prayer and the pledge, which Commissioner Letts will give.
Our Heavenly Father, I'd like to thank you for being part of our lives and just helping us guide us through our lives. We really appreciate the chance of rain this week, and we hope that that'll all come to fruition. I ask that you help guide this court as you make our deliberations, and ask that you watch over all of our first responders, both locally and around the world. We ask these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. I want to remind everyone, if you would, please turn your phones off or to vibrate so they don't go off in the courtroom. And this is the part of the agenda where we welcome the public's input. If there's anybody that would like to address the court and provide input to the court, this is your opportunity to do so. We ask that if you want to speak to the court about an agenda item, that you wait until that agenda item is called. Is there anyone who would like to address the court at this time on something that is not on the agenda? Okay, there being no one, then we will go to Commissioner's comments. Mr. Ballou, how are things going?
Almost raining out there. I've been out there campaigning in the parking lot, so that's about all I've done lately. Stand out in the parking lot at the Hill Country Youth Event Center. It's been good meeting and talking to folks. You know, you get feedback when you see people in the grocery store, but you get a little stronger feedback when you see them in the parking lot when they're about to vote and they're thinking about these things. So that's good. It's all been good.
Good. 2.
Precinct 2 has another quarry operations beginning. A lot of people are concerned about it. We'll try and see if we can set up a town hall meeting like we've done in the past and have discussion with what the plans are and what the people feel about it. And anyway, it's looks like it's all staying out of the floodplain. Charlie's been down there and checked on it. So anyway, a lot of discussion on that in that regard. That's it.
3.
My voice is a little bit raspy this morning, and I think it's more because of a very late night. We were in Houston for a baseball tournament last night. Sam and I got in about 2:30 last night, which is, for me, very late. And not a whole lot of sleep and a lot of yelling. And good news is that Sam's team won the tournament. It was a big tournament. Beat probably one of the best teams in the state in the championship game.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Good deal.
4.
Oh, it's some baseball games, football games, but on a lot lower level. You know, 11-year-olds and an 8th grade football game. Went and visited my grandkids in Huntsville and what have you. And good turnout on all the way around. I see we're getting a chance of rain for the next few days, which is good. We really need it because you know, talking to our volunteer fire departments, you know, we're probably teetering on going back to the burn ban. Hopefully maybe we'll get lucky and get something. So that's about all I have for this morning.
I don't have a lot to report on the county level. I did spend 3 hours at the Youth Event Center on Friday trying to settle things down. People are a little testy out there. And I want to give a shout out to Commissioner Ballou, who was very helpful in trying to mediate what was perceived to be a dangerous situation at the gate as you were coming in. And we tried to get all that worked out, and at the last minute, one reneged and decided not to go along with it because I didn't want to have to turn it over to Commissioner Harris, which I eventually did have to turn it over to Commissioner Harris. And fortunately, we got things, I think, settled down out there.
Everything was fine Saturday,
which is good.
As far as I could tell.
Which is good. But other than that, I think it's pretty much business as usual.
Good.
One thing I am going to do this morning with the agenda is because I do anticipate that we're going to have quite a presentation. I am going to take 1.6 and call it first because William Aycock has been appointed to the Emergency Services District Number 1, and I know he has a conflicting appointment that he needs to make, and I want to get him sworn in. So I'm going to call 1.6 first, That's consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to appoint William Aycock to the Emergency Services District Number 1. Commissioner Harris.
Bill, you want to come up to the podium there and take your mask off so people can see who we're getting in here? We're very fortunate that Bill has agreed to serve on the ESD board for Ingram, and we're excited to get him aboard. And that's about it. Do you have anything to say, Bill?
No, I'm excited to get to work and do my part.
Yeah, I've known Bill for a while, basically through his kids. They served in our FFA program in Ingram, and it's a great family, and excited to get Bill on board. So,
Okay. So,
Do you want
you
to
got a motion?
Yeah, I moved to appoint William Aycock to the ESD Board Number 1.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion's been made by Commissioner Harris, seconded by Commissioner Ballou, to appoint William Aycock to the Emergency Services District Number 1. Is there any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous.
Thanks, Bill.
If you would, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, William Aycock,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
I have not directly or indirectly paid,
I have not indirectly or directly paid,
offered,
offered,
promised to pay,
promised to pay,
contributed or promised to contribute any money or thing of value,
contributed or
promised to contribute
promised to contribute
any money
any money
or thing of value,
or thing of value,
or promised any public office
or promised any public office
or employment
or employment
for the giving
for the giving
or withholding
or withholding
of a vote at the election at which I was elected,
at the vote at the election of which I was elected,
or as a reward to secure my appointment
or as a reward to secure my appointment
or confirmation,
or confirmation,
whichever the case may be.
whichever the case may be.
Now repeat after me. I state your name.
I, William Aycock,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
I will faithfully execute
I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of the Board of Commissioners of Emergency Services District Number 1
of the Board of Commissioners of Emergency Services District Number 1
of Kerr County
of Kerr County
in the state of Texas,
in the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve,
preserve,
protect,
protect,
and defend
and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. You're now a commissioner. And I've signed these. I need you to sign them. Pass them over here too. And once you sign those, and if you'll give them to Jody Grinstead right here, our court coordinator, then you are legal. You need a pen? Here. Oh, we got a lefty.
Probably need a quick picture. I know the paper's probably going to want it.
Sure.
You want me to take a picture, Commissioner?
If you
Yeah, would you?
Yes, that's what
Let's get back there when she gives me a picture. Okay? We're going to shake hands anyway?
Good deal.
Thanks, Bill.
Will you send it to Lisa too?
Yes.
Okay. We'll get back on track. 1.1 is the next item on the agenda. Do we have anybody from Veteran Services here?
Probably out
Or down the hall?
They're in the hall.
Okay.
the mask lady.
1.1, update regarding Veterans Day 2020 events. Marty Mistretta and Jennifer Sanchez.
Yes, sir. Good morning. At least for Veterans Day this year, we're kind of doing a little more low-key. We were going to do a bigger event, but with COVID, we just kind of had to put things on the sidelines there. But we wanted to ask permission to decorate the courthouse. Simple ribbons, possibly put a wreath up at the gazebo, just something small and inexpensive. Yes, sir.
I was just going to say, speak up a little bit more. The microphone's up here.
Yes, sir. So just something small this year. We're going to partner with the Rotary Club at the Hill Country Veterans Center. So we will make a present there like we did last year. We're going to bring the veterans books with us and just kind of hand out our stuff so that people know who we are. We have a face out there. There's a couple other events around town. So if we don't have one, there's other ones available. Bandera's having a parade. Heart of the Hills VFW Post 1480 is having a barbecue fundraiser. Ken Stokel Ford's hosting a Veterans Day meal. And Centerpoint IC is having a drive-through parade. So
A lot of
we
things.
can get permission for the 9th through the 13th to decorate the courthouse. That's all we're asking for.
Okay. So no actions required other than a
Well, do we need to have
request
a
to decorate? Say it again. Marty.
It would be the 9th through the 13th, just to have ribbons around.
I'll make a motion that we authorize Veteran Services to decorate the courthouse from November 9th through the 13th.
Second.
Okay, I made the motion, it's been seconded by Commissioner Mosley. Is there any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. of
Marty,
course. Thank
this
you.
is Marty's first time, I think, to speak in court since she's been on reserve duty for several months, so welcome back, Marty.
Thank you.
And Jenna, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Item 1.2 is to clarify the court's intent and revote and discuss and take appropriate action regarding the pro-life resolution that was presented to the court on October 19, 2020. You will recall that at that time, there were 2 votes in favor of the resolution, 1 vote against, and 2 abstentions. But the clear intention of the court was not to approve the resolution. And I understand the courtroom's packed, y'all are here to talk. I can only speak for myself. I didn't want to have to vote against this resolution. I abstained on the Second Amendment resolution, which I thought was inappropriate and not county business. I think this is inappropriate and not county business. I understand the substance of the motion, the substance of the resolution, the substance of the issue. That's not what's that's not the point today. For me, the point is, this is not county business. There's nothing we can do about this. This is legislative. You need to talk to your state representatives. You need to talk to your congressman. There's nothing that a commissioner's court can do about this. And I'm sure I'm going to hear from all of you about how important it is. But it is not county business, and I will vote against it no matter what you tell me today. So, with that, I'm opening it up for discussion.
Well, as I understand it and did a little research on it, 2 abstentions means we still had a quorum.
That's right.
2 against 1, so the
That's why we put
resolution
it back on.
passed.
That's right.
However, it was stated that it didn't pass.
I know.
And I'll have to say, for my part, I was ignorant of the fact that it actually did pass. And all that really needs to happen today is a clarification that it did pass. That's all we really need to do.
Or we could rescind.
Well, I put it on there to revote.
Yeah, could
So
rescind.
then we need to revote on everything that we've had any abstentions on. Anything that anybody abstained on, we could bring that back in. Is that?
If you
is
want to
the
do that,
idea?
feel free to do it.
I don't want to do it. I just want to move on.
I do not want this resolution to pass. This is divisive for this community. We have got to come together as a community, and this is not helping. These social issues need to be handled legislatively, not before a commissioner's
Of
court.
course they do. And this only is a resolution, just like when we have something on the courthouse lawn to make people aware of domestic violence. It's a resolution. That's all it is.
Non-binding.
Non-binding.
Well, I make a motion that we rescind the vote from last week on this resolution.
Second.
So now we have a discussion. You ready to take the public input?
We also
Y'all
got people
y'all want to
that
weigh
wanna
in?
talk.
Sure.
Okay. I've got, let me count them here. Six people are going to speak, is that correct? Does anybody want to speak that has not filled out their form and given it to the clerk? Okay, then the first person is Jerry Wolf.
Now, we're back again.
Yes, sir.
Something that should have been settled last meeting.
And I apologize for that. I should have voted against it, and I didn't.
I understand it was a procedural error. I'm not, as you, although I'm not paid to be, but I'm not informed about the rules of how this court functions. This court functions under Robert Rules of Order, doesn't it?
No, it does not,
What
believe
does
it or not.
function under?
It's got its own rules.
Oh,
And
you don't make them up as you go.
well, actually, I'm not sure.
We have policies that we've adopted, but we're pretty open to discussion.
Well, we
All
don't
right,
back up as we go.
let me quote Robert Rules of Order, which probably lays the foundation of how this court functions, whether you do it exactly to the letter, but it provides some very firm and strict guidelines of how things should be done in meetings. According to the Robert's Rule of Order, Section 8, the motion to adopt the proposed pro-life resolution was legally passed by a vote of 2-1, as just mentioned by Commissioner Blue. The 2 abstentions, there was a majority here, there was a quorum. The abstentions do not count. The vote of 2-1 is the majority of the vote for 2 carries. The resolution was passed, and the minutes of the previous meeting should be modified to reflect such. And that should be done. I would think that you would make a motion, or you would give directions to the county coordinator, whoever is responsible for the minutes, that meeting of the minutes of the 19th will reflect that the motion passed. I have to skip some paragraphs here, so excuse me. If you desire, under Robert's Rule of Order, again, these are very good guidelines that this court should be following, so there is order in how you conduct your business, as a suggestion from
Mr. Wolf,
a county citizen.
I made a motion that we abide by Robert Rules of Order when we adopted the policies. And this court, by a vote of 4-1, decided not to follow Robert's Rules of Order.
Okay,
So
all right,
that's kind of moot at this point.
all right. Wasn't aware of that. But under Robert's Rule of Order, the motion to reconsider that vote must be made by the prevailing side, not from just anyone. Only those who voted on the prevailing side, the 2 that voted yes, have the right to step forward and say this needs to be revoted. Those who are on the non-prevailing side do not have a say-so.
Mr. Wolf,
Again,
I'm
I
sorry.
want to reiterate that
I'm
this
sorry.
resolution...
Your time is up.
Can't have 10 seconds?
I'm going to have 10 seconds with everybody out here.
6
10 seconds,
people,
what you got?
That's
What do you got?
1 minute. Just want to remind you that this resolution is non-political. This is about a right to life. That transcends governmental bodies. It's as elementary as it can get about any right that any individual has. My pastor this weekend at a church I was at in Houston mentioned, you know what this is? This is a statement saying, I love life. It's exactly what it is.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Wolf.
Thank you.
Bill Morgan.
I'm speaking in support of what Jerry has just said, and since it is just a resolution, it is not binding, but it is an expression of the majority of the citizens of this county, I assure you. Those are your constituents. Are you going to stand up to your constituents and say you don't believe in pro-life?
I do believe in pro-life. I just don't believe it's county business.
It is a statement by a governing body stating that, as was the Supreme Court decision, a governing body on Roe versus Wade.
That was 47 years ago, and this country's been divided 50-50 ever since.
That's right, but it is still pro-life.
But it's a political issue that I don't want this court to engage in.
I disagree, sir.
I respect your opinion.
Thanks, Bill.
McKenna Hall.
Good morning, my name is McKenna Hall. I'm 18 years old, a Kerr County resident and a student at Schreiner University. I'm supporting making Kerr County a sanctuary county for the unborn. As moral, civilized people, it is our duty to protect the innocent life of preborn babies. As of 2017, the abortion holocaust has murdered over 59 million babies. 59 million. That's a whole lot more than COVID, and look how we're responding to that without any legislation, at least on the state level. In one single year, there are more babies murdered in the United States than all American wars combined since 1775 through the year 2019. I don't know about you, but I find that appalling. How deprived is our society without these precious and sacred lives lost to abortion? We would not have had Leonardo da Vinci, John Hancock, Babe Ruth, Billie Holiday, or Steve Jobs had their mothers decided to abort them. You may be fine with this staggering culture of death happening on your watch, but I am not okay with it happening on mine. I also find it sickening that we had to take this vote twice, especially when the whole court has declared themselves Republican. Kerr County is overwhelmingly pro-life, and it is our moral obligation to protect the sanctity of life. It is not our place to determine who lives and dies, only God can do that. Norma McCorvey, Jane Roe of Roe v. Wade, now says, it's not your body, it's not your choice, because you got that from God. He gave that to you. I urge you to pass this resolution and stand up for those who have no voice. In 2020, we have been surrounded by senseless murder and a deadly pandemic, so now more than ever, we need to return to a culture of life. Thank you.
Thank you. Thomas Jeffers.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Been here before. You got me nervous, Judge. I do want to try to change your heart. I really do.
Mr. Jeffers, my heart is
No,
pro-life.
I don't mean it that way. I know where your heart is. Your decision that you're making.
Those, how many million babies did she say have been?
54.
54 million. Not one commissioner court in this country had one thing to do with any one of those.
Yes, sir. I
Not
understand.
one.
I understand. And here's what I want to throw out at you. I know where your heart's. I know where your heart. I've been here with teenagers, and I've seen your hearts, and I appreciate that. An infant at 5.5 to 6 weeks has a heartbeat. As a pastor, every deathbed I've been at, whenever they tested the patients, when the heart quit, the patient's dead. Okay, and I know you understand that. But here's my thing. If I can come in here, persuade you to pass this resolution, and another county passes a resolution, if we just save one life, if we just stand up and save one life, it could be the doctor that does heart surgery on someone in here and saves them down the road. As much as I respect you, sir, I have to disagree with it not being county's business, because it's everybody's business. And I think we have sit back and said, well, that's not our business. We don't want to offend these folks. Let's just be silent. The majority has been silent ever since Roe versus Wade. There has only been a small group that has stood up and fought that to no avail.
Well, I beg to differ. I think we're going to get a Supreme Court justice confirmed today that's the result of 4 decades of work to have that judicially reviewed.
Yes, sir.
So I think we are going about this the legal way. And I think it hasn't been just a few people. I think the country is very divided over this issue.
Yes, sir.
I think this county is very divided over the issue.
Yes, sir.
And I want to try to bring people together and heal these divisions,
Right.
not cram them down somebody else's throat.
Well, and I don't understand how we're cramming this down someone's throat. It's just saying that we believe in life. We believe in pro-life. I mean,
I do.
okay.
I believe in it. But I'm not going to vote for it because I don't think it's good for the county. I don't think it's good for this community to keep this going this way. I think we ought, my personal opinion is, I think we ought to vote for Chip Roy. I really do. And I think this needs to be fought out in Congress. And let the Supreme Court review the legality of where we are.
Yeah.
I want to do it the legal way. There's nothing legal about what we're going to do here today.
Well,
We can't change a thing.
Yeah, I'm 62, and I've been voting, like you say, to resolve this issue, or even
And it's making a
make some
difference.
headway. And 2016 is the first time we ever made any headway on it. And we're not.
And
If you do the research, we're not making headway.
And we may be over the end line today, this very day. And so I want to go with stare decisis. I want to follow the rule of law. I want to do this the right way. Commissioner's Court can't do anything about this, Mr.
You
Jeffers.
can't, no, sir. But you can stand. I mean, that's why I'm here. I'm standing.
I stand as an individual.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
not going to stand as a court because we have no jurisdiction over this matter whatsoever. My heart goes out
Yes, sir, I understand.
to everyone.
I understand. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you. This is hard. David Wagner. Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I wear the mask, but I don't enjoy it. You can guess my line of work from how I look. I am the priest at Notre Dame Catholic Church, just down the street from you. I was asked by some of my parishioners to come and speak this morning on this topic. And I said to them, well, I think the best I could do would just be to quote from the Catechism of the Catholic Church on the topic of abortion. And so, from what I've heard you say so far, how you prefaced this matter and what you've said so far, I think the best I can do is to just submit these thoughts to the public record. These are several paragraphs from the Catechism of the Catholic Church. Paragraph 2270, abortion. Human life must be respected and protected absolutely from the moment of conception. From the first moment of his existence, a human being must be recognized as having the rights of a person, among which is the inviolable right of every innocent being to life. Paragraph 2271, since the first century, the Church has affirmed the moral evil of every procured abortion. This teaching has not changed and remains unchangeable. Direct abortion, that is to say, abortion willed either as an end or a means, is gravely contrary to the moral law. Paragraph 2272, formal cooperation in an abortion constitutes a grave offense. The Church attaches the canonical penalty of excommunication to this crime against human life. A person who procures a completed abortion incurs excommunication by the very commission of the offense and subject to the conditions provided by canon law. The Church does not thereby intend to restrict the scope of mercy. Rather, she makes clear the gravity of the crime committed, the irreparable harm done to the innocent who is put to death, as well as to the parents and the whole of society. Paragraph 2273, the inalienable right to life of every innocent human individual is a constitutive element of a civil society and its legislation. Paragraph 2274, since it must be treated from conception as a person, the embryo must be defended in its integrity, cared for, and healed as far as possible like any other human being. Lastly, paragraph 2275, one must hold as licit procedures carried out on the human embryo which respect the life and integrity of the embryo and do not involve disproportionate risks for it, but are directed toward its healing, the improvement of its condition of health, or its individual survival. It is immoral to produce human embryos intended for exploitation as disposable biological material. That is the teaching of the Catholic Church on the topic of abortion, submitted for the public record. Thank you.
Thank you, Father. Nathaniel Hall. Another neighbor. How you doing?
Hello. I just wanted to say that you were mentioning that you don't feel like it's the court's place to make a statement on this, whether or not you should protect the babies.
I
wanted to say, why is it your place to do this about COVID? Why should you put in the mask mandate? Why should you restrict businesses? What isn't it up to Congress then? I feel like because people would blame you saying, oh, you didn't do anything, so therefore you killed so-and-so because you did not do anything. I feel it's the exact same way about the unborn babies. If you're not going to make a statement saying, we're going to protect them or not, people are going to blame you still that you kill all these babies. By not making a statement, you are killing them. You're allowing Planned Parenthood to come in here and start killing off babies. Thank goodness we have some facilities like the PRC, the Pregnancy Resource Center, that are able to help people be prepared to be parents properly. But I feel like by you not making a statement, it's still killing the babies, even if you feel like it's not your place. I feel it is. If you feel you can do this with COVID, I feel you should be able to do this with the sanctuary city for unborn babies.
I respect your opinion.
Thank you.
Terry Hall.
Good morning, y'all. Terry Hall, a Kerr County resident. You've heard from a couple of my kids today, obviously, but I wanted to read to you from the Republican Party platform. This is the preamble. Affirming our belief in God, we still hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Unalienable. They're not given to us by man, so they can't be taken from us by man. They are inalienable rights, that among these are life, the very first right. Right to life, liberty in the pursuit of happiness. It later goes on to say, it is our solemn duty to protect innocent life and develop responsible citizens. In our core principles as a party, it lists, we, the 2020 Republican Party of Texas, believe in this platform and expect our elected leaders to uphold these truths through acknowledgement and action. We believe in, it lists several, here's the one on life, the sanctity of innocent human life, created in the image of God, which should be protected from fertilization to natural death. Since this resolution is non-binding in a legal sense, it really isn't about jurisdiction or legal technicalities, but rather a strong statement reflecting the deeply held beliefs of the majority in our county that life is sacred and must be protected. If you again fail to pass this resolution, we believe it's an invitation to Planned Parenthood to come into our rural community and rip unborn babies limb from limb through abortion on demand. This conflicts with the fantastic work of the ladies at the Parenting Resource Center who work tirelessly to protect unborn babies from death and to provide support and alternatives to abortion, encouraging women in crisis, affirming their decision to keep their babies, and equipping them to be good parents. This court affirmed that we're a Second Amendment sanctuary county, but we're not going to affirm the right to life itself? Passing this vital resolution, upholding the sanctity of life, and providing a sanctuary to the preborn truly protects the most vulnerable among us. Those who fail to protect preborn babies open the door to arbitrarily cutting life short in end-of-life situations as well. It's a slippery slope, and few of us will be able to escape it if we go down this road. How you vote and what you affirm, either by action or inaction, will speak volumes. And either way, we will not forget. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hall. Any other discussion?
I will go back to what I said originally. This passed. Should have been announced that it passed and that we got it wrong last time. There's really no reason to redo this other than that you don't want it to pass.
That's correct.
Okay.
And I own
want to
it.
make that clear for
But I also
everybody.
want to make it clear that I am pro-life. And I have never done anything, nor will I ever do anything, to take the life of an unborn child. I just don't believe this is county business. And I think we're getting outside, coloring outside the lines here. I think we need to stick running the county like we're supposed to and not get involved and embroiled in these social issues.
Well, one I think and Commissioner Blue brought it up and several speakers did, I think the minutes or the court recording or whatever needs to reflect that it did pass. I think that was not clear. So I think we need to, I don't know how we do that, Judge, reflect officially that it did pass.
When we do the court orders later on, we can.
Okay, we can fix that. The second thing is, I too personally support everything that's been said here today, but also adhere to and believe in what the judge said. It's not county business, and probably people say the majority feel that way in the county. That's probably true, but I don't know. I don't think anybody knows that because there are a lot of Republicans that also feel the same way. That you know, it's not an issue that they should be brought up, or they may feel different about right to life. So I think it's not a county responsible, or function, official function that even is a resolution to be brought up, so.
Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
I want to echo some of the things that Thomas Jeffers said. You know, it basically, you know, it starts here. I said last week, I think it starts one raindrop at a time. And if we feel this way, and I feel confident that Kerr County is a conservative county, the Hill Country is a conservative area. And if we do this, then maybe somebody has the courage to go across the county line and do it in their counties. And all of a sudden you have a nucleus of counties that's sending a message uphill to our Chip Roys, to our Andy Murrs, to our Buckinghams, and say, yeah, we come to all the get-togethers, meet and greets here in Kerr County. This is what these people are thinking. And if we all of a sudden start adding other counties to that, I think it's a strong message, because I'm confident that's the way the Hill Country feels. That's why we live here, most of us, because we're in a conservative community. So.
In my comment, I said it last time, I support the resolution personally. My abstention was exactly what I think. I don't think we should really vote on this. And I have no problem with the last resolution passing. It doesn't bother me. It's just a personal feeling that I didn't, think we really should vote for it, even though I do certainly support personally the issue. However, I may change my vote today. I may change, because I don't mind. I really don't like the fact that it's back on the agenda. I think it passed, and I think we made an error procedurally, and I was fine with that, with it passing. Even though I believe I can't remember the details of the meeting and how it went and what we said, but anyway, I think it is important. We do pass other resolutions that are similar, and for that reason, I'll probably vote for it.
Okay. Any other discussion? The motion that we have on the table is to rescind the passage of the proposal last week. So this would be, if when I take the vote, if you vote yes, it's to pass the motion to rescind. So, those in favor of my motion?
Judge, to rescind the passage.
To rescind the court order.
It's to
rescind the court order.
Rescind the court order.
Which we
It's
still
to
have
correct the
fix.
court order.
I have to rescind the court's order, in parentheses, number inadvertently not assigned, taken on item 1.1 from Commissioners Court agenda held 10/19/2020, and to correct any minutes taken on said item. I was just kind of taking notes of what the court was saying.
But, I mean,
Well,
to
the
me,
minutes of the meeting are the minutes of the meeting.
it's not rescinded, it's to correct the vote, which was that it passed by
2-1.
2-1.
Well, that is what.
That's not my motion. My motion is to revote. That's what's on the agenda, is to revote. Because I want to cast a vote.
We haven't dealt with the original issue of the fact that it passed. That was never even announced in court, nor the court order dealt with to correct it. We're gonna vote against it before we get it corrected here if we do that.
Yeah, I think you have to remove the previous action before you can reinitiate.
The vote was the vote.
Y'all, I
Correct.
think it passed.
It
It
passed.
Yeah,
passed.
it passed.
So-
We all know that.
We acknowledge that.
So I don't think you have to take any additional action to make sure that it passed.
But it was announced in court that it did
Right.
pass.
That's correct.
That's
And that was
what
an
you-
that was
but
an
it-
error.
That's
but
just
it
a
passed
simple-
anyway,
okay,
nonetheless.
all right.
Yeah.
And
So
by the
you're
way,
saying-
it did pass and nothing drastic happened in Kerr County in the interim, did it?
So Heather, you don't think we need to clarify the statement that was in the court that it failed?
I think that that's been done sufficiently at this meeting, just on the in
But
public
the
record.
it's gonna be, always be there. I think there's nothing wrong with correcting that, a correction that it pass?
During today's meeting, at the end of the meeting, what I believe that Jonathan and Jackie have both now nodded at, is that you have the order that you'll approve from the last meeting, is
Okay.
that right?
I didn't submit one
For today, okay.
from
So-
last week. I did not submit one, so the number was inadvertently not assigned. There's still an order, it's not.
So you're saying clarify with that?
I think that
Okay.
it can be clarified with that it's
Okay.
accurate that it passed, and then
Okay.
if y'all choose to rescind it following the motion in the second,
Okay.
then that's a separate action.
Okay,
I
good.
think that's okay.
Yeah, okay.
So confused.
But to make it clear, so no one gets confused in their vote, my motion is to rescind what we did last week. So if you vote for it, then that would be to rescind what passed last week. If you vote against it, what happened last week, you want to stand as is. Is that clear?
I think that's clear.
Okay. So I'm going to call for a vote. Those in favor of my motion to rescind what we passed last week, raise your hand. Those opposed, raise your hand. Okay. 3-2.
Thank you. Thank you guys for coming, speaking, everybody.
Appreciate it. Thank you, folks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Item 1.3, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to accept the OOG, Office of the Governor, Grant Award for the Kerr County Victim Services Department. Ms. Peter.
It's just out there. I'll find it.
Ms. Peter.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm before you today to ask that you allow the judge to sign the grant that you have previously voted on, the Voca Grant, which funds victim services in Kerr County. We were approved officially, but in order to accept the monies, the judge will need to respond and approve that. It's electronic.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Moser, seconded by Commissioner Ballou to approve the Voca Grant and allow me to sign it. Any other discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
1.4, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to accept the CESF, which is the Coronavirus Emergency Supplemental Funding Grant in the amount of $30,000. Ms. Graff.
Hello. So we applied for this back in June. It's from the Office of the Governor. It's for $30,000. We plan on using these funds for PP&E, officer time spent working security at the Hill Country Youth Event Center when it was operating as a testing site, and then some sick and admin leave for employees of the Sheriff's Office and jail. And this grant period ends on January 31st, 2021.
I have a question, Kelly. How does this differ from the other monies that we've received?
This is from the Office of the Governor. It's
Because
from-
of the source?
Yes, because of the source.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Letts, seconded by Commissioner Ballou to approve the CESF grant in the amount of $30,000. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous, 5-0.
Thanks, guys.
1.5, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to declare IT items as surplus. Mr. Robles.
Good morning. In your backup, you should have a list of the items that IT wishes to declare surplus. These are computers, keyboards, monitors, and various wires and parts.
Move we declare the list of items surplus.
Wires and gadgets?
Well, if you look at the back of it, it's Greek to me.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Letts, seconded by Commissioner Ballou to approve the surplus items for the IT department. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous, 5-0. Thank you. Let's skip, we've already done 1.6. Let's go to 1.7. Consider, discuss, and take appropriate action regarding the interlocal agreement for the Hill Country Regional Public Defender's Office. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and call 1.82. We can do them at the same time. Consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to ratify and confirm Oversight Board membership and policies for the Hill Country Regional Defender's Office. And I've saved 1.9 handled separately.
Now,
These-
even if this is done, it could be amended at some point later.
Yes, and just to kind of give you an overview of basically, let me start by thanking our local committee, our Kerr County Committee on the PDO. Mr. Letts and I met with them numerous times, and they did an outstanding job of protecting the county's interest as we bring in a 31 employee department to the county. And I will also say that the recommendations from our local committee were not always immediately approved, but we stood our ground, and we have every safeguard and protection that the committee recommended approved by the Texas Indigent Defense Commission and the other 4 counties. And by way of information, the other 4 county judges and I were in complete agreement and stood together to make sure that each one of these items that are included in these organizational documents were approved. So this was not without opposition, and it was not without some effort to get it done. Basically, what we're going to have is a board that will oversee this department. It will be an 11-member board, and there will be 2 representatives from each county except Kerr County that will have 3 members of that board. And for obvious reasons, because this is our department and we have to be responsible for taking care of it. In the case of, and basically this board hires and fires the chief public defender, who then runs the office. But it is still an oversight board. It's not a hands-on, day-to-day micromanagement board, but it is a board that will oversee the entire operations of that department.
Has it been determined how often they'll meet?
The board? It says a minimum of quarterly. We're anticipating at least monthly. Here, it may be twice monthly.
At least at the beginning.
We're trying to have our organizational meeting next week, so we're up and running as of next week. But what I wanted to emphasize about the 11-person board, we have supermajorities that are required for certain things. So when it comes to hiring and firing the chief public defender, the supermajority is that we have to have 7 of the 11 board members. And let me clarify that of those 11 board members, 5 of them are permanent members, and that is 1 from each county. And for it can either be the county judge or the Commissioner's Court designee that will be a permanent member of that board.
Judge,
yes.
On that point, I was just thinking about it. I was actually thinking back to before I was a commissioner, a long time ago.
Real long time ago.
If, the way I read that, the Commissioner's Court can override that it be a county judge. Is that how you read that?
It's not necessarily override, it's just that it's Commissioner's Court's going to be the one to elect these board members.
Right.
And we're going to, later on the agenda, 1.9 is to elect 3 members to that board.
And what I'm going to, and we've talked a lot, and I've mentioned this at the local meetings and the meetings with some of the other judges, that, you know, I've got total confidence in our current 5 judges. But I think of a time when we had a current judge here in the in the early.
We all remember.
Yeah, right, in the late '80s. I should say. I think that's when it was.
That was mid-90s.
Yeah, mid-90s. Was mid-90s.
I moved here in 1993 and met him before he resigned from office.
Okay. Anyway, I want to make it clear that if that situation arises in any county, the Commissioner's Court can not have the county judge. I think the county judge is the logical person to serve, but there needs to be the provision that the Commissioner's Court can overrule the county judge.
I thought he said it doesn't have to be county judge.
Right, it
It can
doesn't.
be appointed by the.
Yeah.
Right. In fact, and our county attorneys wanted to help me with this language, the original draft that we got back from TIDC was to be that the county judge picks who's that permanent member is going to be. And we don't want that.
Yeah.
We want the Commissioner's Court of each county to pick who the permanent members are going to be and then who the other members are going to be.
That's how I read it, but I want to make sure that that's how, and it's on the record, that's what the intent is, at least for our county.
And so, getting back to the supermajority I was telling you about, the 7 of 11, 3 of those votes have to be permanent members. So you got to have 3 of the 5 permanent members. And the purpose for that is for the counties to ultimately have the say in what we're doing. And it's the county commissioners' courts that will have the say. So we have 3 of the 5 permanent members, a total of 7 of the 11 board members.
When you say permanent member, what does permanent mean?
they're going to be 3-year terms.
Okay.
But the permanent member means that each county will always have that member of the board.
Okay. Okay.
And we call them
Yeah.
permanent because they're the core. If you don't get a majority of them, you can't do anything.
Yeah, permanent to me, you think about the Supreme Court, that's permanent. This is
Well, it's not
permanent in
lifetime.
the same
Yeah.
sense.
I hope it's not a lifetime.
Right.
So what you mean is when the supermajority has to be those permanent members?
3 of them.
3 of those?
Right.
Okay.
And so if somebody wants to fire the chief public defender, and you've only got 2 permanent members, even though you might have all the other members, it's not enough. You got to convince a majority of the county.
It keeps control of the commissioners' boards.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the whole thing is geared to exclusively have the ultimate control in the 5 commissioners' courts.
Good.
That's where it is.
Good.
Now, of the other 6 members, there are recommendations of people that we put on the board. We need to have an attorney that's an active, been an experienced criminal defense lawyer. We need to have a county judge. We need to have a commissioner. That goes without saying. It's recommended that we have a community representative. It's recommended that we have someone who has worked for a governmental agency or a nonprofit that has assisted the indigent. It is recommended that, I'm trying to remember, what are the other categories on there? What did I leave out?
Nonprofit, criminal law, commissioner's court, judge, indigent defense client.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was one we struggled with. Someone who has been a client of our public defender's office or a family member.
Good.
And so we're going more towards family member right now. We don't have anybody that we've represented, so. But that was in the interest of diversity. And all of those are categories that we may fill. We're not required to fill them. But it looks like we're going to be
3
able to do
people
it.
on the board.
Right.
3.
Right. And we'll talk about that here in just a second.
When or where are the duties and responsibilities of the public defender delineated?
In the job description that we posted, we approved that.
Which says budget, hiring, firing, all that?
It's actually the statute.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's in the statute, and then pretty much we model things after the statute.
Okay.
We track the statute word for word.
So it's similar to the airport board. They prepare a budget, bring it here, they bring it to
Right.
the oversight board.
That's a good comparison.
Okay.
Very similar.
Okay.
So the first one we've got is the interlocal agreement. This is the one that all 5 counties sign. And this is, with that, we have an attachment as Exhibit A, which has our percentages. And this is how we will allocate sharing expenses. And you can see that we've got, we're the largest. We've got, and this is on the basis of case count with the Office of Court Administration. And that will be updated annually. We will revisit the case counts on a year-by-year basis and allocate responsibility for expenses accordingly. But Kerr County has 38%, Kendall County has 14.8%, Gillespie County has 15.2%, Medina County has 22%, and Bandera County has 10%. And if we approve this today, and all the other commissioners' courts this week are working on approving this same interlocal agreement, this would be what would authorize us to enter into the agreement with them, and we will be the host county for the office.
Now, our part is nearly $238,000. And this is all paid for with a grant at this point.
80%.
I mean, 80% is what I meant. Thank you.
Well,
our portion.
That is our portion for the matching grant, for the 20%.
That's the 20%?
That's our 20%. The grant's for over $2.5 million.
But we're
paying. This is not just for 1 year. I mean, this is the amount for 1 year, but the grant goes more than 1 year.
Well, we apply for the grant annually. The first year is 80/20.
And we can continue to get it.
Yes, and 2, 3, and 4 are 2/3, 1/3.
But eventually, we get pushed out of the nest.
Right. Yeah. But I think our indigent attorney defense is what, about $700,000 in the budget? something like that. So this is a significant savings
Sure.
to us. And so this
True.
year, we benefit from that, but it will catch up with us.
But I want everybody to know this is mandated, and this isn't just
Oh,
something
yeah.
Yeah.
Kerr County cooked up. This is, we got to do this.
Well, we either do it the way that we're doing it, which is the Kerr County pays the whole $700,000, or we team up with the state and the other counties and save us money by pooling our resources.
And them as well.
Yeah.
Right.
We're changing the way we provide the service.
It's been a smart way to do it.
Yes.
And it's saving in this method, certainly for the short term, in the next 5 years, looks like it will save us huge amounts of money, and we believe it will long term.
Right.
But that's less clear.
Now, that's the interlocal agreement. What the next one I have there is it's the Oversight Board Membership and Policies document. And for all practical purposes, just think of this as what would normally be bylaws, because that's what it is. And this is how we're going to run the Oversight Committee, the Oversight Board. And this is where, if you're looking for the devil in the details, this is it. The interlocal agreement is just a broad general agreement that all 5 counties agree to work together to do it and share the expenses that way. This is where the how-tos are determined.
The shalls and the mays.
Yes.
Judge, I see a slight conflict in language in there. Under term of office, first line reads, permanent members remain on the board for the duration of their service in their respective offices. Yet under the membership, the permanent members can be a Commissioners Court designee and does not have to be an elected official. And I'm thinking of Kendall County, whose is not an elected official. So he doesn't have a respective office.
Doesn't this mean elected to this office? Isn't that what that wording means here? That's what it looks like to me.
But a good way to read permanent members remain on the board for the duration of their service in their respective offices.
Yeah, I related to like it was one of us commissioners.
And the intent for the counties, this says it'll be an elected official, but Kendall County currently plans to elect an attorney, their general counsel, I believe.
They do. I talked to Judge Lux about that. But then he would have to be reappointed. He'd be redesignated.
I mean, it can be gotten around internally because you can remove the person because the intent is, but it's a little bit of a conflict when I read it.
Well, you're gonna, will the people that get on this board, will they take some kind of oath? Is that a term in office or?
Yeah.
Okay, so is that language then not about that specific office? Because that's the way I read it.
Well, we have the 3-year terms.
Sure. If the way I see it is if it's a commissioner and after 2 years, he starts and 2 years later he doesn't get reelected, then they would need to put somebody else.
Well, we put some thought into this because, as it turns out, 4 of the 5 county judges are not running for reelection. So we know we're going to have some new
Sure.
faces. And so we try to anticipate that and how we're going to deal with it.
Couldn't you also have a county judge that did not want to serve on?
We do. We have one.
We have one.
Judge Lux in Kendall County does not want to serve on it.
So you have to provide.
He's counting 26 months, and I can't remember how many days, but I cannot call him without him telling me exactly how many days he has left. Days and months.
I mean, I presume this is before all the other counties today, just about.
I don't know if it's today, whatever their commissioner's court day is this
Probably
week.
should be today. Today's regular.
No, Medina's already passed it. They passed it last Thursday.
I think it's easier to leave it the way it is, and it can be adjusted, that
Right.
language,
If you have to.
if it needs to be.
But what I was going to share with the court and with the public is 3 of us, 3 of the county judges, myself and Judge Shewart from Medina County and Judge Evans from Bandera County, have committed to stay on this board regardless of whether or not we're in office for at least another year, maybe 2, whatever it takes to get this thing, get all the bugs worked out and to get it operating smoothly. So,
And this wording makes provision for that? There's not any-
Well, the commissioners' courts can appoint them. I mean, we could appoint Judge Kelly if he decides not to run again.
Yeah.
Because he's helped set this thing up, so he's
Sure.
been stuck with it.
He knows a lot about it.
Well,
So-
the three of us are primarily the ones that have worked on this the most, anyway. The others have been very cooperative and contributed. But the three of us have basically done it. We're the ones that rolled up our sleeves to get it done. And it's kind of like our baby. We want to make sure that it can walk and run before we get off the board. So.
Yeah.
And not to keep you in suspense, we're going to get to 1.9 here in a minute. But I've agreed to serve on this board, as Commissioner Letts has also, and we've approached retired Judge Keith Williams, our retired district judge, to serve on it. So, just so you know what we're trying to do here. So with that, I'm going to make a motion that we approve the interlocal agreement to enter into with the other 4 counties for the Hill Country Regional Public Defender's Office.
Second.
I've made the motion, seconded by Commissioner Harris. Is there any discussion about the interlocal agreement?
Just that the county attorneys reviewed it and all
Yes,
that.
sir.
Okay.
Oh, she's more than reviewed it.
She did.
She basically wrote it.
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor, raise your hand. Okay, the interlocal agreement is approved. I now make a motion that we approve the Hill Country Regional Public Defender's Office Oversight Board Membership and Policies document.
Second.
Okay, I've made the motion, seconded by Commissioner Moser, to approve the Oversight Board Membership and Policies of the Hill Country Regional Public Defender's Office. And, see, I made the motion, you seconded, Commissioner Moser seconded. Is there any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous, 5-0.
I think we can take a quick break.
Are you going to
Do
go to 1.9?
Let's just do
Oh,
1.9.
I'm sorry, yeah.
And 1.9 is to consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to appoint 3 Kerr County representatives to serve on the Hill Country Regional Public Defender's Office Oversight Board. And the 3 that we're recommending are myself, Commissioner Letts, and Judge Williams.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made by Commissioner Ballou, seconded by Commissioner Harris, to approve myself, Commissioner Letts, and Judge Williams to serve on the Hill Country Regional Public Defender's Office Oversight Board. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. 5-0, unanimous. Let's take a 10-minute break. Let's come back at 10:15.
Good job.
Had a busy morning. Hopefully we'll be a little bit more calm in this session. Item 1.10, a public hearing regarding setting the speed limit to 35 miles an hour on Cade Loop South, Precinct 4. This is a public meeting. I'm convening the public meeting. Is there anybody present who would like to speak on the speed limit on Cade Loop South? There being none, then the public hearing is adjourned. Let's go to item 1.11, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action for the Commissioners Court final approval regarding the speed limit to 35 miles an hour on Cade Loop South. Kelly Hofer.
Good morning. Cade Loop South has never had a posted speed limit according to our records. We placed traffic counters out on Cade Loop South in 2 locations from 8/14/2020 to 8/21/2020. The counters were placed under the direction of the county engineer. One counter showed the 85th percentile of 34 miles an hour, and the other counter showed the 85th percentile of 36 miles per hour. Under the guidance of the county engineer, we feel the posted speed limit should be 35 miles an hour on Cade Loop South. At this time, I ask the Commissioners Court for their final approval regarding setting the posted speed limit on Cade Loop South to 35 miles an hour. This is in Precinct 4.
I move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Harris, seconded by Commissioner Letts, to set the speed limit to 35 miles an hour on Cade Loop South. Is there any discussion?
I think this just makes sense. It's kind of a no-brainer. Everything just came together and proved what you wanted. So that's all I have to say.
The question, what was the high speed when you're ready? Back to it.
Let's see.
I wondered, I was at 80th percentile. I know that's the rule we go by. I was wondering if there were some people that were.
There's only a couple of stretches of that road you're going to go over.
Yeah, I mean,
They were all teenagers, probably.
they're showing anywhere from 15.3 to 55.4 on one of the counters.
I'm not even sure where you can go 55.
Now, I'd like to know where.
They're in the ditch.
Yeah, or should be.
Yeah,
Or will be.
fastest speed 55.
Okay, just curious. Thanks.
There being no other discussion, those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous, 5-0.
Thank you.
Kelly. Item 1.12, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action for the court to approve a revision of plat for Kerrville South 2, track 119. Charlie Hastings.
Thank you. We held a public hearing on this several weeks ago, but the plat wasn't 100% ready at the time. I think the big issue at the moment, at that time, was that we were looking for the water availability proof. And we do have that now. This proposal does divide track 119 into 2 tracks, and there's right-of-way being dedicated along Codrington Drive and Kerrville South Drive. Track 119A will be 2.54 acres and have access from Kerrville South Drive. Track 119B will be 2.53 acres. I hope that's checking out. And we'll have access from Codrington Drive. Public hearing for this revision was held on September the 14th, 2020. As I mentioned, the proof of water availability is attached in the packet. The county engineer requests the court approve the revision of plat for Kerrville South, track 119, volume 4, page 64, precinct 1. I move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Ballou, seconded by Commissioner Harris, to approve the plat for Kerrville South 2, track 119. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous, 5-0. Item 1.13, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action for the court to formally reject contracts 2 and 3 for Phase 2 and Contract 2 for Phase 3 of the East Kerr County Centerpoint Wastewater Project. Charlie Hastings.
Thank you. Phase 2, contract number 2 for services, septic tank mitigation and subsidiary work funded by the Colonia Economically Distressed Areas Program is administered by the Texas Department of Agriculture. This is Texas CDBG number 7217045. We're talking about contract 2 for Phase 2, and contract 3 for Phase 2 was for services Service connection, septic tank mitigation, and subsidiary work funded by the Colonia Fund for Construction, the CFC, administered by TDA. That's TX CDBG number 7218045. So those are contracts 2 and 3 for phase 2. Phase 3 had contract 2 only for service connection, septic tank mitigation, and subsidiary work funded by the Colonia Fund for Construction, the CFC, administered by Texas Department of Agriculture, TDA, TX CDBG number 7218055. The funds from the Texas Department of Agriculture are grant funds to connect low to moderate income households to the project. After analyzing the bids, the number of confirmed low to moderate income households is not sufficient to spend down the entire amount currently granted by TDA for this project. The project team needs additional time to perform additional outreach to the low to moderate income households in the project area, which is ongoing, if they exist, to better define the budget for this portion of the work. Therefore, the project team recommends that the court reject contracts number 2 and 3 of phase 2 and contract number 2 of phase 3 for the East Kerr County Centerpoint Wastewater Project.
Just for clarification, this wasn't any problem with the bids. The bids were good.
Yes.
But if we follow through on these contracts, it's going to leave us with funds that will be short. I mean, that we'll not be spending all the funds from TDA, Texas Department of Agriculture.
Yes.
We need more time to get people to respond to the fact that they are low to moderate income families, and we can increase the services. So it's not a good thing for the contractors who submitted a bid. It's costly for them to do it, but it's the right and necessary thing to do. So I move for approval.
Second. But I think we need to be real clear. I think the order needs to be very clear that we're at contract number 2, which is CDBG number 721705. Contract 3 is both under phase 2. TDA contract 721805, and then under phase 3 contract number 2 7218055. You can accept that as an amendment to those specific.
I may have misheard on that contract 3 for phase 2. It's just to be clear, 7218045. I think I heard something different. I just want to make sure that that was clear.
Okay.
For the record.
Which one is that one?
That would be contract number 3, phase 2.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Y'all got the numbers, right?
We'll get into. It's the ones that are listed on the backup. That's correct.
So the motion's been made by Commissioner Moser, seconded by Commissioner Letts to approve, to formally reject contracts 2 and 3 for phase 2 and to formally reject contract 2 for phase 3.
Correct.
Is that correct? And this is of the East Kerr County Centerpoint Wastewater Project.
Correct.
Any discussion?
Just the other comment, and Charlie, this will have a negative effect from the standpoint of applying for funds in the future with TDA, correct? If we reject these, does it not have some, you can't go back and reapply for these?
No, it won't be negative.
No, I think that there's some other things that are going to cause what you're saying. This doesn't.
Oh, okay.
This needed to happen.
Okay, this is just a rejection, but there's some other.
There's some other things that cropped up that we're not going to talk about right now.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But overall, you do need to know that there's plenty of grant funds, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
Okay. So with that, those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous, 5-0. And before Charlie and Kelly get away, one of the things I noted out at the Youth Event Center, remember, there's a safety issue right at the entrance. And we're wondering whether or not we've got that caution sign that we can put up, the flashing sign. Is there a way to possibly look into putting that out at the Youth Event Center to slow voters down as they approach that entrance? It would help a lot.
It can even have a message on it. Absolutely. That thing can say
You guys just
whatever.
show me what location, what message you want on it. I can get
Okay,
it out.
we'll follow up.
Yes.
You will be hearing from Jody.
If it's in the text, if you guys are wanting it put in the text doc right away, I just will need to get all
Yeah.
the text dot and make sure that it's okay with them. If
No,
it's
the
gonna be
issue's
outside
inside the parking lot.
Inside.
But we want it before you get to the cutout, so it would be on the text dot right away.
Yeah, right.
So if Jody just sends that to me,
Yeah.
I can forward it to Troy and make sure everything's.
I'm sorry, I know, it's not on the agenda, that's just
That's okay.
housekeeping business.
Charlie, can you, under our department head reports, are you going to give us an update as to where we are on the bidding? Can you just go over?
Oh, I absolutely.
If you would, I'd appreciate it.
Appropriate time, yes, sir.
Okay, well, let's go through the approval agenda. 2.1, pay the bills.
Good morning.
We got some bills today.
Just a few. Invoices for payment today for treasurer's disbursement include $180,786.85 for Kerr County, $228.58 for the airport. Those are for the last fiscal year of 1920. For this fiscal year, Kerr County, $580,609.86. The airport, $957.47. Adult probation, $12,649.18. The county clerk fees, $28. And the 198th DA forfeiture, $1,544.28.
Repeat that last one.
$1,544.28.
Move to pay the bills as presented by the auditor.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made by Commissioner Moser, seconded by Commissioner Blue to pay the bills as presented. Is there any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous, 5-0. Budget amendments,
There are not any.
late bills.
We have one, it's for $450,388.
That's on the closing this afternoon.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
We have a closing this afternoon on the Earl Garrett property.
Okay, good. Move to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Moser, seconded by Commissioner Letts to approve the late bills as presented. Those in favor, raise your hand. Opposed? Unanimous, 5-0. Auditor reports.
There are not any.
Thank you. Monthly reports.
Yes, for September 2020, standard monthly report from Constable Precinct 3, Ken Wilkie. Fines, judgments, and jury fees collected, JP4 Bill Ragsdale. County Treasurer's monthly report, Tracy Solden. Animal Control Services, Director Reagan Gibbons. Environmental Health, OSFF, Director Ashley Batters. Indigent Services, HR Director Jennifer Doss. And the Kerr County Investment Report for third quarter ending September 30th, 2020. County Treasurer Tracy Sullivan. I move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Harris, seconded by Commissioner Blue to approve the monthly reports as presented. Is there any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous, 5-0. Court orders.
Yeah, we had the court orders from our October 19th meeting, 2020 court orders number 38394 through 38402. Does the rest of the court get copies of these?
They didn't get that one. I
Okay. Let me read the one that was passed the discussion this morning at length. Let me just read that one so everyone's familiar with that one. Came to be heard this 19th day of October 2020 with a motion made by Commissioner Harris, seconded by Commissioner Blue. The court approved by a vote of 2-1-2. Commissioner Moser voting against the measure and Commissioner Letts and Kelly abstaining. A resolution in support of unborn pro-life resolution. And it's just approve a resolution in support of the unborn, a pro-life resolution. I think that is an accurate reflection of that one.
In that reflection. Good.
So I'll make a motion to approve the court orders listed.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Letts, seconded by Commissioner Harris to approve the court orders as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous, 5-0. Information agenda, 3.1, status reports from department heads. Charlie.
So I'd like to get a status report on the East Kerr County wastewater project phases 2 and 3. As you know, several months ago, we advertised and bid the project, and we opened the bids. We even awarded the contract to D. Guerra for both phases 2 and 3, contracts 1 out of both of those. And as you know, just moments ago, we formally rejected all of contracts 2 and 3 in phase 2 and contract 3. Those were just for the low to moderate income services, and that had to do totally with the grant funding and making sure we had enough low to moderate income properties identified to satisfy the amount of money we had in grants. Trying to be efficient there. And going through this process and turning in reports to the Texas Water Development Board for both contracts 1 for both phases 2 and 3, we discovered that we had an error in our advertising. State law is very clear that when you advertise for bid, for competitive bids, that you must advertise in consecutive weeks. We had some weeks in between our advertisement instead of consecutive. That's my bad. I should have made sure that our clerk knew exactly what needed to happen. We've taken corrective action on that. Well, we are already advertising again. Those advertisements will run this Wednesday, I believe, and next Wednesday. And we have talked with the contractor, D. Guerra. They said, you rebid, if you re-advertise, we'll bid it again. So the new schedule would be to run those advertisements this Wednesday, next Wednesday, have a pre-bid meeting like we normally would, have a bid opening date later in November with, I believe, an award date. Gosh, I don't have the schedule in front of me anymore. I don't know, Heather, you were on some of that call.
Yeah.
But either at the end of, no, I think it was at the end of November.
Is that week of Thanksgiving is November the 20?
Seemed like
30th.
23rd.
Is the 24th?
24th would be bid opening, but then we would need time to evaluate the bids and then make a recommendation.
The 30th is that?
November the 30th, I believe, is the day that we were targeting to award. That is correct. Bid opening would be on the 23rd, it looks like, that Monday. No, we had the bid opening on the 24th. You're right.
Yes.
So the bid opening would be on the 24th, and then award would either be on the, no, we would receive the bids on the 30th, and then award in December, because we do need time to make sure that it'll be good.
Right.
We don't know who the new low bidder would be, because it's going.
Now, when we
right back
opened
to
the bids the
process.
first time, we read publicly the bid amounts on everybody.
Yes, and that would, I think the intent would be on the 30th is to.
Yeah, I'm just
get
saying
it in front of
that's.
the court to receive it.
That's the thing that's not good about it. We read everybody's bid at that time, so when everybody rebid, they'll know what the low bid was.
Yes, that's true.
So bad for the contractor, but maybe okay for the county.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
And all this was because the ad didn't run consecutive
In consecutive weeks. And, you know, we looked hard. Heather looked hard. She checked with Texas Association of Counties. You would think in 2020 that wouldn't be an issue. You know, the reality is that the contractors that are bidding on this, they're coming from all over the nation to bid. There's not really anybody that read the Kerrville Daily Times or the West Kerr Current that said, oh, I better bid on this project. But the state law says that you have to advertise in a paper of local circulation for 2 weeks straight in consecutive weeks, and that you can't open bids until 14 days after the first advertisement, which we were in line with everything else. We just didn't have the consecutive weeks.
There was a lot of discussion the past couple of weeks between Heather and Mr. Moser and myself, and they were communicating with the Water Development Board, and because of the amount of money especially, and these are federal funds, pass-through funds, we need to make sure that it is absolutely correct.
There's no wiggle room.
The downside is huge. So delays it, which is unfortunate, but we need to do it right. Okay. Thanks, Charlie.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other department heads' reports? Okay, let's move on to elected officials. I see we've got at least one here. Mr. Reeves.
Good morning. I just wanted to inform the court and for everybody else that next Tuesday on Election Day, based on the volume that I'm anticipating compared to early voting. The office at the courthouse will only be open for elections. I'm upping the number of staff at Ingram to handle property tax and motor vehicle that day, but I don't anticipate I would be able to, with the phone system and everything else, be able to serve the public properly. I'm required to be open 7 to 7 next Tuesday, just like all this week. And based on the primary, the number of phone calls we receive then, I just don't have the staff to do motor, property, and voter out of the tax office here. It'll be a one-day thing. Signage, I've notified the public information officer, and we'll get a press release, but I also wanted to let the court know.
What are the numbers right now?
As of Saturday afternoon, we've had 15,782 in-person early voting. That's just over 40%. That doesn't include the ballots by mail, which I'm estimating close to 10% when it's all said and done on that. I look for us to, last week, the ones who haven't got in, we'll probably have one of the highest turnouts ever in Kerr County. According to one of the papers, last week at one time we were number 6 in percentage turnout in the state. And the other counties were some of the larger, Collin, Denton, Williamson. So I anticipate a trend to continue this week as well, Commissioner.
Very encouraging.
Yeah.
Here in Kerr County, we should know Tuesday night the winners for our county, or at least.
Yes, we anticipate that that the early voting ballot board begins signature verification Saturday.
Okay.
Nothing will be opened or counted until Tuesday, but with that amount, it's going to take Saturday and meeting again Monday just to verify signatures.
How long are the lines out at the Hipman Event Center, or is it going pretty smooth?
It's going pretty fast out there. While the first day of early voting, the line was from the expo hall to the indoor arena when we opened the doors. Your actual time in line was very minimal, the way they were moving them through. Longest I've heard out at the Ingram Administration Building was about 15 to 18 minutes.
Yeah.
Just simply, it's not as big of a space, but we are handling that and moving everybody through with that. So we anticipate we have 20 polling locations. And my staff, along with IT, has already divided them up where they'll be early Tuesday morning to make sure everything's set up properly.
Good job.
And be sure and let your staff know that we appreciate all the hard work they're doing.
Yeah.
We really do.
Appreciate that, and they're putting some long hours in, as I know a couple of you know. Plus the office, anytime the polls are open, we have to physically be open, so that is increasing the hours from Sheriff's Department too to be here. So,
But be sure and let them know personally that
I will.
this is not lost on us. We appreciate what they're doing.
well, thank you. Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other elected official reports? Liaison commissioners.
I have something, and it relates to the election. It concerns maintenance. You know, we put that new that generator. We moved it over here, and we were going to fire it up this last Monday, and we can't because of elections. And next Monday's the same way, so we'll get to it afterwards. Shane and his crew to test fire it and make sure everything's working.
Good.
Well, I went with Julie Leonard, and we got a little with the Historical Commission, got a little tour of the old Schofield Girls School this weekend. It's a young couple, bright young couple that has bought it, and they're remodeling it, and we were at first excited that maybe it's going to be a tasting room or some kind of an event center or something, but they're just going to live in it for the time, and they're doing a great job with it. So people wonder about that stuff, what's going on up on that hill. Is it still haunted and all this other stuff? They assure me it's not haunted, even though the police tried to get that rumor started to keep the kids away and just brought more kids up there. So,
Of course.
they've had to repair everything from tactical training that went on up there to kids opening up the cistern and all that. But they're on the road to doing something good there.
Good.
Julie was ecstatic.
Good.
The only comment I have is really not a sort of liaison, is that I mentioned my son at the tournament this weekend. I also want to mention Charlie's daughter. They won the national volleyball tournament up in Kansas. Where you had to go?
Kansas City, Missouri.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Outstanding.
So,
It's cold up there, wasn't it?
congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
Long
Thank you.
drive.
Yeah. And Garcia's daughter's on that team too.
Right, Paloma Garcia
That's right.
was also so very good. That's it.
The only thing I would share is that the CIP, the Capital Improvement Planning Committee, did meet and have a very fruitful, productive discussion with the Board of Deacons for the Ingram Presbyterian Church on that property adjacent to what we put the contract on. Just to let them know that we have interest at some point, maybe not right now, but at some point, we'd like to talk to them about trying to expand our footprint there. So that went very well.
Price of property just went up. All right, good. How's it, the Spur 100 property still being discussed?
It's under contract.
The 5 acres?
Oh, the 5 acres. What we did on the 5 acres, that's being appraised.
Okay.
They didn't know. We made them an offer. They didn't think it was enough. We based it on what the price per acre was from Mark Watt's earlier appraisal on the 16 acres. And so, because they didn't know what to do, they didn't know how to respond to us, they asked if we could get an appraisal on the property. And we agreed to split the cost of that. I think it's less than $2,000.
Okay.
And I talked to Lonnie last week, and he's so straight and narrow when it comes to. I don't understand all of their rules and stuff, but he was disclosing to me that he had talked to Clayson and that it was okay. And I said, yes, it's a mutual deal. We just want an appraisal, and you're working for us, but he certainly will have access to it.
And so that the public understands what we're doing is, we felt like we had a pretty good feel on what that property was worth per acre because of the earlier appraisal that we had. And we didn't just want to impasse this negotiation with the VA dog people.
Right.
I don't know exactly the name of the organization off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And they've been very cooperative, and they suggested
Veteran service dogs.
Yeah, veteran service dogs. They've been very cooperative, and they reached out and wanted to know if we would split the cost of an appraisal to find out what it's worth, and we agreed.
Good deal. So that's in work. Good deal. Super.
Okay, we're going to adjourn into executive session. It is, what time is it here? 10:44.
10:44.
And to discuss consultation with our attorney on pending possible litigation. So we will adjourn for 5 minutes or a few minutes and come back to order. Back in open meeting. We have nothing else on the agenda, and the court is adjourned.